was the leak from Yellen hours before the actual release specifically put in place to be a bull trap? And I'm going to go back to the chart to kind of explain to you guys why I'm thinking this. And I'm going to go out to the 4-hourly chart to give me a little bit more of a picture of what's happening here. But guys, we have been trading now between 35,000. And yes, we had a wick come down all the way to 33, but let's just call it 35,000 and about $44,500. This is the channel we have been in since the beginning of January. So first, there's a lot of fear that's put out in the market, and it's potential legitimate fear, but what is the Fed going to come out and say here in January? So watch how the price dropped. Now, this was all before the announcement, but the price dropped in anticipation of what was going to happen. Whereas a lot of us had the feeling, because we'd seen it happen over and over again, that the Fed's response was kind of going to be nothing. They were going to kick the can down the road. And sure enough, the price started to rally. We had bullish movement stuff happening right here, and we came back up. Then we had the war in Russia and Ukraine, not in Russia, in Ukraine, but the Russian invasion start, which that one we didn't do it in anticipation, but it brought the market down when we heard there was actually an invasion. Now, the problem is, though, is that as much as the FUD that happened here, and I'm not talking about the FUD of the war, because I do believe that all of that is real, that is happening right now, that is not a lie, but there was FUD coming out about anticipation of how terrible it would affect the markets. But then again, the news came out, we were like, oh, actually, it's not really that bad. It's not that bad for the market. It actually might bring more attention to crypto. So now our price rallied up again. And now what we saw was despite the fact that they were very open about what this executive order was going to be, we saw a price drop in anticipation of bearish news. But then Yellen, of course, goes ahead and leaks what's happening here, that in fact, the government isn't going to be necessarily against crypto, that they want to learn more about it, but that it could be the potential future of money for Bitcoin, for the U.S. at least, if not the rest of the world, and that they want to create CBDCs and whatnot. So we end up rallying. Now tell me what you think about that. That articles come out trying to scare people about what's coming up next to purposely drop the price when they knew the news was not going to be that bad. We knew that Biden was going to come out and say the executive order is that we're going to start actually learning about this stuff, but he's not going to risk with everything that's happening right now over in the Eastern Hemisphere and their adoption of crypto. He's not going to risk the U.S. falling behind. So why do we think this was going to be overly bearish? They wanted you to believe that, but if you had been paying attention to the news specifically, you would have known this is going to be a good thing. And sure enough, we have FUD, FOMO, FUD, FOMO, FUD, and now we're in a FOMO realm. Now, if this news was so amazing, why did the price only come back up to 42,000? Why didn't the price just explode? I do think the price is going to go up because of things that have happened, but people like to act like, oh, this is the greatest thing in the world. We're done. The fall is over. And we've only rallied back up to $42,000. To me, the reason I'm so skeptical is because I've seen this played out before. I've seen the proper usage of dropping information that helps manipulate the market. And what's funny is it's doing it right in line with technical analysis patterns. It's continuing to create a ascending triangle. And even though it looks a little bit different on the 4-hourly chart, the reason that ascending triangle is there is if I go out to the daily chart, every single daily close has stayed in relationship to this. So the timing of this stuff just looks extremely peculiar to me. Now, moving on, you can go off my screen now, Smade, to my thoughts about what's happening here. There is still a lot of information that needs to come out about the specifics. It actually was extremely vague about what the details are. But what you should walk away with in bullish feelings is no matter what you think about the US government, no matter how badly you wish that crypto would just stay decentralized without any type of government or hand of a single entity trying to get their hands in it, that's just not going to happen. Crypto is going to be regulated. It's inevitable. Crypto's going to have its down and moments and things about it that people don't like. It's inevitable. But what this does show me, what this does show everyone, and it should encourage you, is despite regulation and despite the desire from governments to continually bring centralization into the forefold, the price of crypto is going to go up. Governments are not going to shut it down. Again, it's a train that cannot be stopped. Bitcoin has been let out and you can't stop it. So the government's best bet is to try to regulate it, try to harness it, but they know that dog's going to run, right? And here's the thing, we can argue and we can disagree, and you're probably right to talk about how wrong it is to have regulation, how wrong it is to see centralization in the space, like Coinbase closing down over 25,000 wallets in Russia. But the fact stands that sometimes centralization, as bad as it is, doesn't mean the price is going to go down. Because now that's what people are wrestling with. People are wrestling with, what should crypto be, and does my money go up? So I'm telling you right now, if you think that crypto is going to be perfect and in this utopia of what it was made to be, it's not going to happen that way. But if you're asking, Tim, will there be money going up in crypto? Will I be able to make a fortune in crypto? The answer is yes. And here's the reason why, is because I've been saying this now for the last couple of months. There are billions of institutional dollars sitting on the sidelines saying, I'm watching what's happening in Bitcoin. I'm watching what's happening in the rest of the crypto space, and I want to get involved. But unfortunately, with all this uncertainty, with all the FUD in the air, because I don't know what the regulations are actually going to be, I'm not going to get my hands dirty. I'm going to sit on the sideline. This is what's going to happen, is as the US government and other governments start to regulate crypto and make the rules clear, whether we like it or not, the good side of that is that now the institutions have the guidelines and the rules that they know how they can play. And that's going to give them the confidence and the ability to invest wisely and put their billions of dollars into the space, which means all of us retail investors who got in the space early and held out and hodled despite all the FOMO and FUD and all the manipulation, we're going to benefit from that in the long run. Now, long term, we can still discuss what regulation means and what all the centralization of exchanges means. But if we're strictly talking price, regulation is not a bad thing for price. It's going to make it go up because it's going to bring more money into the space.
Hey, you made it to the end of the video. If you enjoyed this video, you should definitely consider subscribing because we're trying to help you become financially free in these cryptocurrency markets. And also, consider following us on Twitter @CryptoJeb for more updates on the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. Peace.